Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Let's continue to discuss this paper, Green Investors and Green Transition Efforts. Talk the talk or walk the walk. I just mentioned that this is a job market paper uh, written by Shangyuan Chen. And yeah, and then this paper still have some space to be improved. So you can have your comments and feedback for this paper. It is not yet published. I just checked there is a new version in 2024, but not yet published. So I think the editor should have some comments on this paper and to ask the authors to improve. Uh, what's the wrong? What's wrong? Okay, the research questions of the paper is to ask are green investors investing in activities that actually benefit the environment or only claim to benefit it. So this is related to greenwashing concern. And the author answered this question by testing the relationship between investors' decision and the firm's sustained green transition. Uh, that's work or only communication of a green corporate image. That's talk. Also, this paper examines whether the firm walk the talk or only talk the talk without doing uh, more details. So this is a very good angle for this paper, but something can be improved, including the writing skill. And the author find that talk actually very influential. So they find that especially like institutional ownership actually significantly affected by the talk rather than the walk. So this is, I think, is something like ironic because institutional investor actually holding the stock actually only have a high score on talk rather than walk. So this is something that we can doing further. Are you there still? Uh, why the screen disappear? Can you see my slide? Can you guys see my slide now? Okay. So this is something that I think can be done further because institutional investors actually include like banks, insurance company, pension fund, including public pension fund, private pension fund, and finance companies, and so on. So I think a different institutional investor type might focus on some different type dimension. Some focus on short-term benefits, some focus on long-term target. So there might have difference if we can check it further. I don't think that all institutional investor can be cheated by only talk without walk. Some institutional investor actually doing analysis every day. They will downgrade it, they will upgrade some stock. So it's very frequent for them to change their decision making. It's not easy that you can cheat it, the investor all the time. So can be done. If you feel that the result is confusing or not very solid, you can do more. And this is another that talk the firm. You find out the firm that talk more are assigned a better environmental rating. So talk more benefit the firm with better ESG score, because you know that ESG score not 100% quantitative. Some quantitative numbers about your toxin release, about your gas emissions, carbon emission, but some data are from or collected from survey. So including non-quantitative data and quantitative data. So if you have something like a ESG score, it probably including quantitative and some survey. So survey can be collected from the newspapers or your annual report or your social media. Everyone has social medias, and you say something, they count a lot of impact factors, so they can change the result. So this is another things that I mentioned. Why talk might change your ESG score. And the other one is some potential improvement in the future. We can talk that later. So if you would like to doing this kind of paper, you can type like keywords: greenwashing, green marketing, green job, ESG, or sustainable investing. You will find all of this. So this is a walk and talk. Usually the relationship between firms, green job, demanding. So find the job demanding from the newspaper. And if you find a green job demanding is high, that means usually the firm have a higher demanding for environmental metrics improvement. So we predict that is a positive relationship in between. So find the job. You cannot see my screen, but okay, I just asked you whether you can see my slide. Nice. Yeah. So the relationship between the firm's green job demanding is usually positively related to the firm's environmental metrics improvement. If you hire more employee related to green job, that means the firms really initiated this environmental metrics. So positive relationship in between. However, we can also think that if they're only communicate, what's the result? So some firms using marketing, via social medias, and we can see that institutional investors will read all of this news. So the institutional investors might change their decision making to purchase a stock of the related social media's stock related to green. So the stock return might be higher. So we can see that the result from this paper is positive too. But it is only for the whole sample. If we separate into different type, I think the result might be different. The walk is the solid dimension, the talk compared to the talk. Okay, so greenwashing means the insensitive practice of making misleading or falsely claim that the environmental friendliness of a product or intangible services or a company. So there have some real world example we can search. We can search here. If we search, can you see my slide? Google, can you see the Google here? Okay, nice. And greenwashing examples here, you can see that if we say any greenwashing example, then we can see that even Coca-Cola, or you can see a lot of examples. You can check all of this. Which industry are you interested in? Volkswagen. They cheated on emission test. This is a very famous case, right? They say that they're green, but actually not, because the numbers it is not correct, and it was found that there have some cheating event. And another is Amazon claiming friendly beige. Also, they claim something that they are using some materials which is like a recycle, but actually not. And there have some. Oh, there's some interesting example here. We can see the Coca-Cola. What kind of example there should. And a lot of example like a McDonald's paper straw, right? This is green. And Coca-Cola about the sweetness from nature source or lower calorie. But the fact is not the standards they claim. So this is greenwashing. It's inconsistent with what they say. And greenwashing example here, you can see a lot of something like innocent, something is on purpose, something is cheating. So different levels, including like a banking system. Okay, the banking system also have some greenwashing, misleading their claiming advertisements. This is a airplane company falsely released a low emission claim, but it is not. Okay, so this is greenwashing too. Like IKEA, they have using or accredit illegal lodging because the wood came from like you're not so environmental protected burnt. Also, this is another claim about some manufacturing related to furniture firms, banking system, air company, right? Delta. So a lot more. Apple, even Apple have something being claimed, right? So including the product, their services, and the company, the whole image. Almost every firm have been claimed in their life. So this is a greenwashing example that you can find a lot You can Google and ask ChatGPT to give you more condensed and the complete example. The same thing could be happen in green marketing. So green marketing, like electronic vehicles, they accuse that they are carbon emission. That's correct, right? Energy efficiency can saving energy. That's a good marketing point too. Sustainability, green marketing campaign for this event. This is also very important. And government incentive can give them some subsidy or benefit for them to develop electronic vehicles. And also they can claim that the electronic vehicles reduce noise pollution, very quiet, very light, and save energy and without any carbon pollution. Also, you can have some green marketing too for your firm. And this paper mentioned how to measure the talk. And this is a wording. I'm really interested in this wording. You know, each word is a measurement in Refinity, another database. I have this data, so I really liked it. If you want to measure like a toxin, then the different numbers and different amounts of your toxin release. So there is a quantitative numbers. Your air quality, each firm will pollute or you green or clean sectors, you will have different air quality to the environment. So climate change, wastewater treatment, whether you are doing good. And something like this items could be quantitative, but something could be qualitative. So they have scales, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very small portion came from survey, but most of them are quantitative. So this is the work model that from the job posting advertisement. So if a firm have much more green keywords in the job posting, that means this firm is more green orientated compared to those firms without any green wordings in the advertisement. So this is one dimension. And continue to those wordings, you can see a lot of here, right? So like you have, so green or ESG oriented numbers, not just like energy, nature resources. It also including like a human, like a human right, and your board directors' independence power, your compensation to your employee, or your diversity of your company, whether you include all races, including like a black people or different races in your company, in the manager level, in the employee level, high level, middle level, and the employee level. So they have a different dimension. Environmental is one dimension too, but they have the other social dimension and the governance dimension. So a lot of words that you can collect it from the advertisement. So clean saver have so many words, 86, 400 words. So almost a large number of the firm focus on this green, or we can say that. Also, this is a reference for you to know about the job posting type from their advertisement in public social medias or news. So the data, I think the paper is really, really hard to be made. You can see that the data, job posting data from a LinkUp. This is a website. Also, you have to search in it and quantitative all the numbers and the text words. And this is from the job posting, whether the firm is more green orientated. More words signal that the firm is more green orientated. In CompuState, combine their financial statement. So this have to match the LinkUp firms. And 13F from institutional holding. Okay, so each firm in those LinkUp firms, how much percentage being held by institutional investor of their stock can be combined. And also those firms' stock price, you have to merge it with CRIPS database, and you have to merge their ESG scores, right? So MSCI ESG score is quite simple. The most complete data is from Refinity. There are 600 items from Refinity. And this data was purchased by another company last year. I think it's LESG data. So Refinity had been purchased by LESG company too. And another is a Sustainalytics database. Amongst these three, I think Refinity is the best one. But three databases provided by three different vendors, and each vendor have different numbers for their data. So this is why so many researchers accuse that I use MSCI different result. I use the Refinity have different result because three vendors doing their work independently. They don't share the data with the others because you have to purchase the data and use the survey to collect some qualitative data. So they don't share any items with the other vendors. So you use vendors one. You have to use vendors one continuously. Don't compare to Refinity 2 because it's probably different criteria as my experiences. And some violation data from the violation tracker. Okay, so this could be collected too from the web source. And I think among all of this, that this one is the most difficult to measure the sentiment. The sentiment actually is, we call the talk from the True Value Labs. So your wording is your talk. From your talk, we can give you a sentiment scores. And here I can share some data, maybe later. What is a sentiment? If we call like event sentiment, some events have sentiment, like a violation. If one violation event happened, and people think that is a negative sentiment to the company, then you will get like a negative score. If some event happened and public think that the event have positive impact on the firm, then the sentiment might be changing to a positive coefficient. So this is the data from the median sentiment. So if you from the environmental issues, then you can have your scores. This is from the True Value Labs. So you can see that this is a very hard paper to be done with job posting data or regional firms combined with 13A CRIPS database and Refinity data and violation tracker and the social median sentiment score. And also they have environmental outcome from Bloomberg and related to what kind of mutual fund you are examining, the light green, dark green, or neutral, right? And also compute state. A lot of things to be done. So this is a huge work. And as for the models, nothing special, just very hard to measure walk and talk and control the fixed effect. And the outcomes is the environmental results. And also later this paper measures some like expenditure ratio, R&D ratio. They're also using walk and talk as the independent variable control for the other fixed effect and the error terms in equations 1 and 2. And if you want to control for the sectors, you can use like a 4-digit NAIS index, which can control for your result more solid. And this is the empirical models. And after that, we can see that the data saying that it killed that 2002 in June, but the data actually we cannot see any 2022, right? So there have some period being missing in the preliminary version of this. And we can see that the numbers is increasing with the years. Also, time series data, the numbers are increasing for the greenness. The more reason, the higher numbers of observation for the greenness, the posting job. So this is the preliminary results. And here is the summary statistic. So we can see that the walk and talk is a quite important one, right? The presenter also mentioned this. So the talk actually has a very small number, 1.16, but the walk numbers is much more higher. The same patterns happening. Percentage 99% is much higher than percentage 99% of talk. So I think most of the firms have walk data without talk data. Talk data might be missing more. So this is the walk and talk data control for the quantitative data from the environmental recycling ratios, hazardous carbons, and carbon is the quantitative absolute value. So you can divide it by the fixed assets or total assets to see the relative coefficient, and the capital expenditure ratio, advertisement ratio, organization capital ratio, and so on. All of these are quite important because this is related to work. If you work, then you have to invest capital expenditure. If you work, then you have to purchase a new facility, right? So the capital expenditure should be increasing in this period. If you only talk, that's another dimension that your advertisement ratio might be higher. If you always social media and advertisement and you talk, these numbers. If you are doing something like organization capital, this including about the human resources. So you might hire the expertise related to green orientated employee. So this is belong to organization capital, human employee, expertise employee. So this is the organization capital. You can see that this is another measurement for the work. So something related to work, capital expenditure, R&D expenditure, organization capital, something related to talk, like advertisement. And the others is a control for the financial statement, right? And here, MSCI, we can see MSCI. This is the ESG score, right? And if you violate the ESG, you will be penalty. There is a penalty numbers here, and the line numbers, stock numbers, and the ratios to measure the outcomes. So this is the table 1 from the paper. And from the interactions, we can see like equation 1 and 2. We have independent variable, right? So here, walk and talk. Talk positively related to work, right? Column 1 and 2 have the same result. Control for industrial year fixed effect. So we can see talk more, actually work more, positively initiated the work. And here we can see the work and work more, actually talk more too, positive related. So correlation or interaction in between is significantly positively to each other. Work affected talk, and talk affected work significantly positively in this period. And if we use like a leg and lag, t-1, t+1, we only see the result here. That means no relationship in between, only one exception, which is talk. Your talk might be affected by your talk before, like this. Okay, so talk might be influences by your previous talk, or your current talk might influence your future talk, and your future talk might be influenced by your previous talk. Other than that, no relationship. Only talk. You talk and continue talk. If you're lying, you continue to lie. That means that. And work doesn't have this matter. Okay, so we can see only 10%, 1 star only. It is actually, we don't accept it like a 10% significance. It's not significance. You have 10% errors, probability, something like that. So work might be affected by your previous work, but you have 10% probability. This conclusion might be wrong. So this is an interesting result about walk and talk, usually positive related to each other. If you control the previous and the current period, and we can see that only talk is continuously. Other than that, no relationship. And green transition efforts here. We have a control fixed effect without control for the fixed effect. Actually, panel B can be ignored. Any regressions without control for the firm fixed effect or year firm fixed effect or sector industrial fixed effect, the result might be misleading. So actually, I don't recommend that you read the panel B. Without control fixed effect, the result might not be correct. So we can go back to only read the panel 1. So the first panel here, control for the fixed effect. And there have some column 1, variables to column 5. All of these are environmental results. So the outcomes from recycling, hazardous carbon, and the carbon emission divided by different denomination. So work actually really, really important. If you do something, your recycling might be increasing the ratio, and your pollution about the hazardous carbon emission all significantly negatively reduce. So work something, the results are significant. We can see the reducing coefficient on the environmental outcome. And the recycling, which is a good activity, increasing. So your recycling ratio increase, but your pollution reduce significantly. If we only talk, no impact. I just mentioned 1 star doesn't count. We don't count 1 star. So talk doesn't have any impact. Okay, so work actually work, but talk actually not work. Control for the firm fixed effect. And next, table 4, control for all fixed effect, but measure for the image. So we can see talk is influential. Your talk and the social media, you post a lot of reports, and the advertisements say you are so good and your recycling ratio so high, you have reduced your carbon emission, then it really have a good image. So the image, recent, medium term, long term, short term, and your article, number of article, materiality, all have very good image. So talk influence your social media image about the greenness positively. But you only walk, you are hidden. Nobody know that. So no impact. So this is a really interesting result. Talk is so important on influence your image of greenness. About the expenses items, because you have to walk. Then walk have to do something solid. Then we can see that this result showing the solid result. If you walk, then we can see your capital expenditure increase significantly. If you walk, we can see you don't care your advertisement. So your advertisement ratio reduce. If you walk, then you might hire some employee and to increase some special organization capital. This part have the opposite results. I don't know why, but organization capital, including R&D expenditure ratio, including human resources expenditure ratio and other supply chain expenditure ratio. So it is not only come for the employee expertise about the greenness, it's included diversified dimension. But work, this in organization capital reduced, but at the least the capital expenditure increase. If we take a look at the talk, all in talk without any impact. So the study expenditure ratio doesn't have any impact. This is interesting. So which expenses are influenced mostly? We can see the 3-star, right? Capital expenditure is most influential that we can tell. And advertise only 2-star might be reducing and substitute by capital expenditure. And the other, like organization capital, it's reduced significantly. They might not be focused on maybe like a supply chain or the brand investment or something might need to explore more about why organization capital reduced significantly. But among all of this, column 2 is one of the most important dimensions. So we can see that 3-star, your capital expenditure actually increased significantly. If you only talk, no impact, no significance. Control for the fixed effect. And the next year, or the current year, or temporarily, all of this column 2, no matter your previous year or current year or the next year, column 2 always being significantly and positively impact. So column 2 is the most crucial measurement in the work. If you work, we can see the column 2 always being positively increased. If you only talk, then without any impact, right? And ironically, if you only talk, actually your R&D reduce significantly. So you might reducing your R&D expenditure and increase the other social media expenditure, I'm guessing. The penalty is another dimension to measure the environmental regulation or green transition efforts. If you make more efforts, you will not violate, right? So your violation or penalty should be reducing. But here we can see increasing penalty actually positively related to your talk rather than work. So if you talk more, or why you have so much penalty, that means higher penalty actually costs you more talk. So we have to have another story for this. And the other is industrial penalty. So higher penalty actually talk more too. Right? So when you talk more, we have to guessing that probably because you have more violation or penalty. Okay. And this is another table 7. Is from the environmental score here. I just mentioned that 3 vendors provide different results. So if you focus on MSCI, the result quite significant, right? So work more, you have a higher MSCI ESG score using this. But the other Refinity and Sustainalytics is insignificant. Only MSCI database is significant for work. So some results can be explained, but my personal experiences is we cannot only measure the ESG score. We have to measure the individual items independently. Refinity has 600 measurements. If you only measure one score, which is a total weighted average score, it's not very detailed to measure the environmental. It's included governance and social dimension too. And here the author saying that the MSCI showing the positive results. Work more and your MSCI score is higher. As for the other vendors' data, it doesn't have these results. And I just mentioned that we have to see the firm with fixed effect only. Without fixed effects, doesn't count. And here is the institutional investor because they can pick the dark green, light green, or the green ratios in their portfolio. And here we can see usually work is important. We can see from panel A here is a dark green funds. Dark green funds, it's very, very solid for work, right? Work more, your dark ratio is higher. But for light green funds, no significant difference. You only light green, then probably you will not increase so many work firms because top firm also might influence your decision making. So for the light greens, it doesn't have differences in between work and talk result. But in dark green mutual funds, we can see only work can affect the portfolio decision, right? So work more efficiently. Yeah, then is that right? So this is another results. And here is the institutional investor here. You can see that. This is I think this result can be explained more because the new version of the data, the author released a new version. I see the different results. Here they say that the talk influences the institutional certain F breadth, but in the new version, it is the opposite. It is opposite. So if the talk influences more compared to walk, then you undervalue institutionals' quality, investors' quality, their expertise. They know who are the greenwashers and who are doing the real job. So they will check more to pick the right firms to be their portfolio. So this is the preliminary result about the institutional ownership. Here they're saying that the talk might influences the results, but what doesn't. But the new version seems different. And who can affect the stock return? And interestingly, right, talk influences the stock return significantly. You only walk, your stock return might not be affected. So this result was changing by the new version 2. So we have to update the data here. So comment 1, my idea is the data are not completely or something might be missing. In the new paper released to 2023, 1 years longer than this paper. The authors updated to 2023. And this is the data underestimated. I'm saying that the talk data probably it's very hard to measure the sentiment and the wording. So the numbers is significantly lower than the walk numbers. So this could be another problem for the paper. I mean, the talk measurement is undervalued or underestimated. And another one is the fixed effect. Okay, so I just mentioned that we only need to focus on panel A with fixed effect control. And first results without control for fixed effect, it does not count. It will mislead the readers. And here is another one I just mentioned. The institutional ownership should be separated into more different type, including banking, insurance company, and the pension fund, public pension fund, private pension fund. Here I mentioned here a different type of pension fund or different type of banks or insurance company have different horizontal goals, long-term, short-term, or medium terms. They may focus on long-term goals or short-term profit. So they may focus on walk more than talk if they focus on long-term. If they focus on short-term profit, they may focus on talk. And this is missing in this paper, parallel trend. I mention this every time in the paper. And another is causality test on endogeneity problem. So walk and talk might affect the results, but result might inversely cause to walk and talk. So walk and talk affect result, but result might affect walk and talk too. So here I make a very simple endogeneity problem. Its outcome may drive talk, and outcome may drive walk, rather than walk and talk drive the results of the environmental outcomes. So this is one concern of this paper, but the paper doesn't check the endogeneity problem. And another concern is omitted variables. There might have some cultural differences, regulation from the external and the managerial style effect affected their environmental results. So it doesn't relate to any of walk and talk. It's related to company's culture. So if we omitted these variables, we might mislead in the result. We have to check whether we missed the omitted variables. And the third one is the measurement errors. So I think the green outcomes might have different measurement from different vendors. Some vendors provide much more accurate measurements, but some vendors doesn't. So measurement error might exist in this paper. So you say insignificance or significance, they might have some measurement errors too. And so the IV should be added. I see that like a regulation or carbon tax can be added. So if there have some carbon tax affected your walk and talk, the paper should include this as environmental variables in the equation. And another one is the difference in differences results. I always mention this, the parallel trend. I did not see that. I always have to see. And this is the endogeneity problem. And go back to our slide, the last page is the conclusion. Okay, I think we have 4 group, right? And each group mention 1 point. What you have learned from this paper. Group 1, number 1, and I will let you go after your answering. Conclude 1 point. Are you there? Group number 1. Yeah. Can you answer in 1 point? Group number 1. Conclude 1 point. I'll give you 30 seconds. Then group number 2. Conclude 1 point. Or you have learned from this paper. Walk. Okay, work is the most influential factors on influence the environmental outcome, right? Okay, and then group number 3. Yeah, you conclude a lot, right? But if I only need you to mention one crucial point, which one will you pick? You might say in like a 4 points. If I only 1 point, which one would you conclude? You think that is quite important or the most focus on 1 point? Walk and talk. Walk. Okay. Work is more influential for the long-term environmental outcomes compared to just talk. Talk may focus on like short-term benefit or profit. Okay, nice. And then the last group number 4. External shock. Did you mean that? Yeah, I cannot catch it instantly, but I think you are saying something correct. Okay, that's a general story. Okay, nice. And does anyone add something? Group number 1, did you answering something? Did you want to say something more? But there is a positive relationship between, right? Yeah, work and talk at the same time, the same period. Okay, at the same time, you work more, you talk more, you talk more, you work more. The same period, but not the lead or lag. The lead and lag only happened in like a talk. Okay, very good presentations.